Uprising. We welcome you to today's show and ask those of you who have not subscribed to please subscribe to our YouTube channel as we continue to expose the satanic Illuminati agenda and the usher of the Antichrist. Let me explain to you. I want you to envision this scenario that I just went through. In preparing to expose the Rio Olympic ceremony, the opening ceremony, I made mention of it a few days ago that I would watch this opening ceremony to make a video on it, because before you even see it, you already know it's going to be filled with Illuminati symbolism and elitist agendas. Oh, and it was fully. So what I did was I recorded it last night. I was actually going to do it last night. I'm glad that I did not. Instead, I decided to get up early this morning and participate in watching this gigantic ritual. And little did I know when I pressed play that I had to sit through 4.5 hours of this nonsense. 4.5 hours is how long the opening ceremony was. Now, give or take, you can fast forward an hour of that with commercials, and then at the end they have all the people come out. Ooh, look at me, I'm from USA. Oh, look at me, I'm from Canada. Nobody cares, okay? Nobody cares. But never in my life, if I had to start a day sitting through such nonsense. My blood pressure is so high right now, I will do my best to not have a stroke during this episode. So let's start with right off the bat. What's the very first thing you see? The opening credits, and it's dark, fade in, and what do we see? Oh, look, we see a bunch of random pyramids. People holding the pyramids, upside down pyramid. Pyramids, pyramids, pyramids. Everybody's holding a silver thing. Nobody's saying, what are we watching? Okay, it's just this gigantic ritual. No, they're just holding these pyramids. But it gets better. It gets much better. Listen to this as this ceremony goes through. What do we see? We're talking about the Olympics now. Remember, we're talking about athletes who are swimmers and runners. You know, athletes who play sports that nobody cares about, right? Right on screen, what flashes? Global warming. I repeat, global warming. And you know what they do? They fade in and out. Global warming with what? A giant pyramid. Subliminally brainwashing people. Them showing in plain sight that they're the elitists, you know, the pyramid that represents the Illuminati, represents the elitists, are pumping this agenda on everyone. So what do they do in the middle of the ceremony? Well, you get a 25-minute lecture, or at least it felt like 25 minutes, a lecture on global warming. They show you how the world has changed since the 80s to now, and they talk about the polar ice caps and all this stuff, while flashing the pyramid right in between. If that's not an agenda right off the bat, okay, pushing this agenda. What do I always say on this channel? The Super Bowl, the Grammys, the Oscars, all of these events, the stupid Tony Awards, which are useless at point, all of these award shows that they get lots of viewers in on, right? They get millions and millions of people during these events. They're big events for television, big ratings. They make sure to go out of their way, pushing the race war at the Super Bowl, pushing the race war at the Oscars, pushing all of these things, pushing global warming at the Oscars. Now they're using the Olympics here, not only to show their symbols and brainwash people and put them through this ritual, because that's what this performance was a giant ritual, but they're making sure to brainwash everyone with global warming, letting you know how bad it is, how dangerous it is. Oh, no, don't worry about it. They don't make mention of HARP. They don't make mention of CERN, that they have these machines where they can control weather patterns, and they certainly don't make mention of the chemtrails, where they're pretty much blocking us from actually getting vitamin D and really experiencing the sun, where they put this huge layer in the sky, which is responsible for a lot of the climate change and all the stuff that goes on. No, they don't mention that. They're just telling us that, soon the oceans are going to rise and countries are going to get wiped out, pretty much conditioning people so when they decide to do it, when they decide to turn on CERN or whatever way they're going to do this, with an earthquake or a tsunami, they're just preparing to say, it's going to be global warming. We're going to see, the coasts of these countries get wiped down. Just letting you know. So they're brainwashing everyone with that. Everybody's watching it, and they show the audience very serious looks on their face. Just a joke. Then what else we see? We see more pyramids, right? Just blatantly obvious pyramids in our faces. Nobody says, what am I looking at here? I mean, I couldn't even imagine being in attendance there. I would rather stand in the bathroom and flush the toilet 1,000 times and just watch it flush than be in attendance at this event. It is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. People are cheering it. They don't even know what they're watching. They're like, this is a culture lesson on Brazil. Meanwhile, what is this? Like a giant spider appears. They roll out a spider and a centipede or some other insect. You can't even identify what it is. It's so ridiculous. all these pyramids are flashing. People are just going ooh and ah like they're at some techno show. They don't realize they're a part of a ritual. Okay, so somebody needs to stand there and go, hey, okay, I got this plan. We're going to do this Brazil thing, this history of Brazil, and we're going to roll out all this stuff from Brazil. But then I'm going to do all these pyramids, and we're going to have pyramids everywhere, and we're going to have peace signs. We're going to have all of these symbols that are satanic right in the middle. Oh, you don't think that they deliberately, strategically did? You think that he just was trying to, the people behind it were just trying to roll out this cool show? I mean, people are so naive. They think everything is just, oh, it's artistic. They have this woman on there saying, this is art. This is a work of art. I wish I could be on the floor with everybody and participate. What? A work of art? I've never seen, it's almost like you're watching people with mental disorders running around holding up silver triangles. I mean, you don't even know what they're doing. Centipedes are rolling in. You got spiders rolling in. Huh? I mean, making no sense whatsoever. Pyramids appearing everywhere. Then you can even see how they do this line on the stage. Obviously, if you look close, you can see that it's a Masonic emblem that they're making. But sure, people will say, oh no, it's just this weird line that's randomly drawn there. They show the elitists in the crowd smiling in their box seats, representatives of other countries in their suits and ties. It's just a complete joke. So you see the Mason stuff there. They have a guy out of nowhere just roll out there in a cage like a hamster wheel, right? Like a hamster in a wheel. Like I always reference rats in a cage, hamster on a wheel, the same thing, right? That's how they view us. We're just chasing nothing because there's nothing to chase here, because all these fake dreams and all these things, these illusions that they create, oh, the American dream, oh, you could do this. We're all rats in a cage. We're all hamsters in a wheel, essentially, chasing after nothing, because all we really need is to accept Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. But instead, people are too busy trying to get the things of the earth, achieve the things of the world, or these worldly materialistic things. So they have the hamster in the wheel, which just absolutely sure. I mean, what do you want to say? This guy who made this is so artistic? This is the most random nonsense I've ever seen in my life. I can't believe I had to sit through it. Of course, we see homage to the sun. We see sun worship, which is always involved with the elitists. The sun, you can see the sun all over the place. You see the phoenix rising again. If you look closely here, some of the pictures are hard to see, but if you look closely, you can see the phoenix rising. You see that with the arms and this mysterious thing rising. I mean, it's once again the phoenix rising. We saw in 2012, they did the same thing with the phoenix rising. I've talked about it on this channel. I did an expose on the phoenix rising and what it means to them. Okay, this is resembling Satan rising, and that's exactly what this means. That's why that's randomly thrown in there. Oh, am I supposed to believe that it's paying homage to a bird? Or what is it? Is it a parrot? I mean, what am I looking at here? Of course it's paying homage to Satan. Of course it's the phoenix rising. They've done it before. They do it again. Then you see the peace sign. There it is. I've talked about it. I've exposed the symbol. Others have. Obviously, it's a satanic symbol. Most of these symbols are satanic. It represents when people join these covens and denounce Jesus Christ and become Satanists. They're given a wheel. They break the arms down in that wheel to form that sign. It's representative of Jesus hanging on the cross upside down. That's what it's resembling. So you get the peace sign right there for the Satanists to see. Then you actually get the hand peace sign, which I've covered as well on stage. You can see the sign up there, the peace sign, for everybody to see right in plain sight. And of course, it wouldn't be some type of a show without the black and white tiles, would it? There you go. You can see it. They were flashing it on and off, in and out. They were flashing the black and white tiles, doing an above shot, deliberately, obviously, a shot from above the stadium so everybody can see the black and white tiles flashing in and out. So there you get your black and white tiles. I mean, it wouldn't be one of these shows or these events, these spectacles that they create without the black and white tile. Of course it wouldn't be. Then, which was just even more ridiculous, blatantly obvious stuff, we've seen this at the MTV Music Awards, Video Awards. You see the 666. You see that 6 right there, okay? Now, they were deliberately showing stuff upside down. They were showing it from the viewpoint of upside down, which we know the law of reversals with Aleister Crowley and what they believe in doing things backwards. They were deliberately showing a lot of this stuff upside down. So in other words, they were doing above shots from a helicopter, deliberately showing it the opposite way. They were cutting to it time and time again. But you can see the actual 6 on the top and at the bottom, and then they have a moment where they do a countdown, so you can see the 666 right across the screen. You might not see it in the bottom corner, but there's a 6 down there, okay? There's a 6 in the top corner, top left, and the bottom right corner. There's a 6, and then in the middle, they have the 666 flash. Of course they do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be blatantly over the top. Okay, this is how they condition people. This is how they can subconsciously condition people by flashing this stuff. So you get the 666. So this is all this ceremony, right? Of course we get what else? So, I mean, the theme to me seemed to be cube worship, seemed to be Saturn worship. I've talked about the cube and what it means to Satanists. We've seen it in Rihanna's videos, just randomly a cube. We've seen it in Sia's video. We've seen it with Lady Gaga and the Intel commercials with the cube. I've talked about what it represents. You see the cube all over the place. It's all over the floors. You know, they're just flashing the cubes. They're passing cubes around. It makes no sense what you're watching. I mean, if anyone out there sat through this, I am so sorry that you had to sit through this. This is one of the worst experiences of my life, sitting through this. I mean, one of the worst. This is the worst way to start a day. It's like being put under a spell, having to pray while you're watching it to keep any demons or whatever attachments could be sent to you through watching this nonsense. But it's a gigantic ritual. That's what it is. But people go, oh, it's performance art. Oh, right. It's performance fart is what it is. Okay, you're telling me that this stuff, oh, yeah, they just got together. Like, how about we hold up these, those things people wear when they're trying to suntan, like those silver things, they hold them up around their neck. How about we just run around with them for a while? Oh, that sounds wonderful. It sounds so artistic, doesn't it? Yes, and then what we'll do is we'll have these huge pyramids pop up. I love it. I love it. Hold on. I'm getting paid $500,000 to do this event. Hold on. I need to cash my check. Oh, keep going. Oh, peace signs? Yeah. Let's talk about global warming while we're at it. Does that tie into Michael Phelps swimming or some idiot throwing a ball 20 feet and going, yay, look, oh, look, I'm doing a vault. Yes, oh, all of these things that aren't sports are now sports for some reason. Oh, but wait a second. Let's talk about global warming because it really ties in. I mean, how do people not see how this is all about getting their agenda across? This, they didn't have to push the race war because they weren't in America. They were over in Brazil. So obviously they had to pull another card. And like I said in my other video, you'll see stuff. Oh, this gay athlete has come out. Oh, this person's gay. Let's talk about it. They already did. Some girl came out. It was a story. Oh, she's come out at the Olympics. It's a special moment. I'm sure she'll be on Ellen when she gets back. We'll get her shoved down her throat. They'll probably, throw the event so she gets some type of a medal, so they can say, oh, she's a silver medalist, and she came out of the closet. Oh, nobody cares. Stop shoving it down my throat. So sick of it. So you'll see that agenda push, but center stage right there. What can we talk about? Let's talk about global warming, right? Because we haven't heard about it since Leo talked about it at the Oscars and then went in front of the United Nations, but that wasn't weird, right? Leonardo DiCaprio, an actor in stupid movies, is speaking to the United Nations about global warming. He's an expert on it. Every time you see pictures of the guy, he's wasted somewhere on a yacht, but we're going to take his advice. He's going to tell me about global warming when I've read countless things on global warming, and I've heard countless scientists talk about how global warming doesn't exist and how it's really created by them using their machines, and through the chemtrails in the skies, they control the weather. But sure, I'll take Leo's word for it because he was in Titanic. So yes, let me take his advice. So there you have it. I mean, it was non-stop. It was every second. It was some type of symbol flashed in front of your face. The dance floor kept changing from cubes to pyramids to all sorts of stuff. It made no sense whatsoever. They were trying to tie it into the theme of, oh, we're in Brazil, let's tell you about our culture. Then you have the commentators who are just ridiculous wastes of time sitting there and whispering, oh, and what they're doing now. Oh, is that what they're doing? Because it looks like they're putting a spell on everyone. Oh, is that what they're doing, Matt Lauer? Thanks for letting me know, but I'm pretty sure that they're putting a spell on me. But thank you, I appreciate the advice. They did this thing with a guy from Brazil. They're saying, people in Brazil believe he's the first person to ever fly a plane. He's the one. Not the Wright brothers. No. He's the first person to fly a plane. Who cares? Why do I care? What does this have to do with anything? Who cares who the first person to fly a plane was? I mean, talk about random. They have this, they're doing this stuff, right? They're flashing all these symbols. Then Giselle Bundchen runs on stage. Huh? Giselle Bundchen just shows up and walks across the whole stage, and we're just supposed to be like, what is going on? She walks for about 10 minutes, just walking across the stage, and they whisper, this is her last runway show. This is a runway show? I thought this was the Olympics. What is going on? But she was there, of course, for no specific reason whatsoever. But then we get her dancing with the crowd. Everybody's having a good time, loving the brainwashing. They show the fans, they're practically crying, going nuts to the beats that are playing, the satanic songs that they're playing. These people singing, putting spells on people. Everybody's just having a great time getting put under the witchcraft and the spells, watching all the symbols be flashed right in their faces while the elitists are up in the press box cracking up at the cattle of society, as they refer to us, as cattle that they've created. This dumbed down society that participates in stuff like this. So if you haven't watched it, please don't. You'll have more fun blowing your nose for an hour straight than you would watching this. It is ridiculous. What this was a giant ritual. It was snot is what it was. It was snot. Okay? It was awful. It was symbol after symbol, agenda after agenda. Like I said, they were even pushing in the gay agenda. Oh, she's come out of the closet. Oh, has she? I'm straight. Does anyone out there care? I could care less if she's gay or not. Isn't she there to do the pole vault? I gotta give a crap about her sexual orientation? Well, of course I'm supposed to care, because they want my children and your children and everybody's children to be gay and to not accept it as a perversion, to accept it as a way of life and a choice when it's a perversion. I mean, all of this stuff. Just, yes, tell me more about global warming. I need to hear more about global warming. Keep convincing me about how global warming's real. Give me a break. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, look how the things have changed and the water's rising because some jerk tells me that the water levels are rising. Oh, because they're preparing to wipe out coasts. Oh, but it's going to be blamed on global warming. That's why, right? For depopulation, right? Oh, Agenda 2030, Agenda 21. What do you want to throw at me that I don't already know that they're trying to do? But they're just going to continue to try to convince everyone to believe this stuff. There's actually people who claim to be awake or truthers that think global warming's real. I mean, it's just they still are able to trick and manipulate people, because there's people that still say, oh, but I do believe global warming is happening because scientists are proving it. I mean, they force feed you this stuff. If they're force feeding it to you and you're seeing it on a major stage over and over, it's a part of their plan and their agenda. It's as simple as that. If you're constantly hearing about it, that's what it is. It's an agenda. You're not constantly hearing about the child sex trafficking that's going on. You're not hearing about these abortion sacrifices that these Satanists do. You're not hearing about all these kids that go missing and how they make over $40 billion annually buying and selling kids for sex, for black magic rituals. You don't hear about that on the news. You don't hear about any of it. You hear about Donald Trump talking about building a wall. Because it fits an agenda, right? We're talking about these kids who are bought and sold. They don't want to let anyone know that goes on, because guess what? It's satanic panic. It's a witch hunt. There's just crazy Christians like me who are just finding these statistics, we're all making these statistics up of all these kids that go missing. Cameras on every street corner, okay? Cameras in your home, on your phone. You're being monitored all the time, and all these kids just randomly go missing. And you have kids who are 5 years old that have cell phones. Oh, they just vanish in thin air. They don't talk about that. Of course they don't talk about that. Instead, I gotta hear about global warming. That's how you know that's an agenda. You can figure this stuff out on your own. Just listen and say, why do I constantly hear about transgenders crapping where they want? Why do I care? Well, because it's an agenda. That's why. You don't hear about people texting and driving accidents and how many people die, and how people should be cautious when they drive because there's idiots out there texting and not even looking at the road, and you could get killed today going to the grocery store. Stuff like that they should make people very cautious about, and make things like that illegal to do completely. I mean, I know it's illegal, but I mean, they should beat it into people's head. Like, the punishment should be life in jail or something. But of course they don't want to talk about stuff like that, because it doesn't fit into their agenda. They want people to text and drive and crash into each other. Okay, so this is the Olympics. I'm going off track here because I got so fired up starting my day with this nonsense. I'm so sick to my stomach seeing these things over and over. I said the other day, and I was pretty obvious, you can talk in advance. Super Bowl halftime show, Grammys, Oscars. You already know, if you're somebody who makes these videos, or if you're somebody who looks for signs, you already know in advance that the event or the show is going to be filled with it. So I knew I had to sit through this nightmare so I could show everybody all these symbols getting flashed in front of our faces. But still, people don't see it. They still think it's randomly going on. Right, Leo at the Oscars talking about global warming, talking about it here, talking about it everywhere, talking about the race war everywhere. I mean, give me a break. It's laughable how obvious it is. It is getting laughable. They are so in plain sight with their agendas, and people are so dumbed down that they don't care. And even if you show it to them, they still don't care, because they're too busy posting pictures on Facebook eating a breakfast sandwich. Look at me. I'm eating breakfast. I made it myself. Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Did you see her picture? She was eating a croissant. Oh, really? They're killing us with chemtrails. Look above your head at what they're doing to us. I'm supposed to care that you're eating a croissant? Give me a break with our society. People need to wake up and see this stuff. Okay? They need to see it. We have to point out. Share this video. Show them. Say, look how you might have watched it yesterday, but look. Did Did you notice all these things? Did you notice them constantly pushing this? Have you noticed they constantly push the global warming agenda? Oh, you haven't noticed? Well, notice it! Unbelievable. I thank you for listening to today's show and today's rant. God bless all of you and your families. Peace be with you.